talking about a very strong wind there. This
Yeah.
second one is moving to the northeast at 65. So
65
still
also.
65, but it's east.
So the good news about these moving fast, bad news and good news. The bad news is when you look at the wind speed of a storm, the faster it's moving, a lot of times the stronger that first gust of wind is going to be. So that's bad. And you see the times of arrival for the area of rotation there. Wynn at 1237, Parkin 1248, Earl 1254, Tyronza 103, and Whitten at 108. The good news is this has some really heavy rain with it, so the faster you can get this in and out of here, hopefully the less rain you have. So there's the leading edge of it. You got a little notch right here. The second area of rotation is down in Forest, west of Forest City, down in St. Francis County. And that is going to continue to move to the northeast at 65 miles per hour also. We'll put a cone on this one. And the reason that we put a cone on it, notice how it expands out as you continue moving to the northeast. The reason we do that for the variance of the track. If it moves to the left or right, north or south, excuse me, of that path, we can make sure everybody gets adequate warning. So that one also is going to come very close to Wynn, down to the south of Wynn, 1242, Parkin 1253, Earl at 1258, Crawfordsville 104. If it holds together, it's going to be probably passing really close, maybe north of Marion at 111.
Yeah, I'm looking at the debris as well on this, just to see if there's anything popping up. Not seeing anything, so
No.
that's maybe a little bit of good news right now, but still a very strong system and moving through. Watching 2 tornado warnings right now with multiple areas of circulation on this Boeing system that already on its own has 70-mile-an-hour winds. So what we're talking about right now is some very gusty winds with potentially tornadoes embedded within them as well.
Yeah, so if you notice here, this entire area, let me kind of make a little box here. This entire area was already under a severe thunderstorm warning, as Christine was saying, for 70-mile-per-hour winds on the Boeing side of that storm. And then they came through and issued individual tornado warnings for little bitty kinked up areas of the line that's coming through. So what we've got, when you start see this bow right through here, the reason that is happening, we've got wind punching in right through here, and that's why we have the strong gusty winds. They just kind of trimmed back the back part of that storm. So we're about to get some really strong winds coming into Harrisburg and wind regardless of the tornado threat here.
And I will say this, I'm looking at some information behind the scenes that I can't really show, but it's moving into an area that's a little bit more favorable for this to continue and not just stop as it continues to move to the east. So it's something that we're watching. It doesn't really have a reason to weaken at this time, but there are still some areas there that are trying to rotate.
Well, we just now got a new radar scan, so now it's more like right here, but I would make sure everybody in Cherry Valley is in your tornado safe spot. That area is going to go just to the north of Wynn, but this area down here also needs to be watched for the tornado warning down to the south. So Wynn's got one area of rotation passing to your north, one passing. Well, it ain't going to pass. It's going to come pretty close to the wind area, and that's why you're under a tornado warning. There's actually 2 polygons. So there is an area that officially is under 2 tornado warnings right through here, this little triangle here, which is pretty rare to see.
And the National Weather Service is pointing out that the bow itself is accelerating in speed as well. So this is just a very strong system that's trying to move through right now, and it might be moving through even faster. So if this system, if it's picking up in speed, they've just issued this saying that there's potentially 1-inch hail, 70 mile per hour winds. They're still saying this is going to the northeast at 65 miles an hour, which they have been saying, but it does appear as if it might be trying to accelerate.
Look at this. They've issued a warning now. It goes all the way up to Clay County, all the way down. That's a big severe thunderstorm warning here for that Boeing line, for the leading edge of it, just to have some gusty winds with it also. And then they've marked out the individual areas that they are concerned with as far as the tornado is concerned.
Yeah, there's One area of rotation that might be a little bit more obvious, but again, these are just like teeny tiny little kinks in the line where we could be seeing a couple of storms trying to spin a little bit. So if you go ahead and switch over to Max 2, if you don't care, what we're looking at here is just the velocity product. This is the wind speed and the wind direction, where you're seeing the wind going away from the radar. That's in the red, and the radar is to the right of your screen. The green's going towards. So we're looking at these little areas of rotation where we might be, and we just got a new scan in, so now it might be kind of over in this general area.
Tell you what, we got Brian Koleski, one of our reporters with K8 News. Brian Koleski has been down in the wind area, following up from the tornado that hit about 2 o'clock in the morning. And Brian, you're on air right now. You just sent me a text that the sirens are going off, which makes sense with the storm coming through. You're taking cover right now. Did you get a look back to the west before you started taking cover?
I'm actually pulling into a parking lot right now, fixing to get into a shelter area. But yeah, I'm looking across the parking lot at McDonald's, and I see a very nasty looking storm kind of overhead where the wind turbines are. Definitely a big wall. I can't see anything rotating, but I do see while they've issued 2 tornado warnings, it is
now
it
3.
is nasty looking
It's
here in wind.
now 3 tornado warnings.
Oh, great.
Okay, take cover. I won't take up any of your time. Make sure you take cover. And
Very good.
all right, see you.
See ya.
So once again, that's Brian Koleski. He's down here, one of our reporters that's down in the wind area, and he is taking cover now for that storm coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that big Boeing line does look pretty nasty. Got a new tornado warning right here. Does include Harrisburg, includes parts of Craighead County. Doesn't officially include Jonesboro. Does not officially include Jonesboro. So 3 tornado warnings now for 3 individual areas. There it is right there. That's going to continue to move to the northeast.
This one's moving to the east at 70 miles an hour, so this storm's going a bit faster than the 2 to the south.
All right, let's try to put a storm. I got to widen out pretty far to get a nice look at this one. There's a new radar scan that came in. So let me put this down to the south here. We'll put a storm track cone right here. 70 miles per hour.
Yep.
Let's see.
Quite the fast storm.
Let's kind of put it like that. That's going to have it in Harrisburg at 1247. If it holds together, Truman at 1259, Lepanto at 104, Etowah 112, 118 into Leachville. Unfortunately, what's happening here also is we're getting into areas that the first responders have been working around the clock through the past couple of days. And so they're probably stretched thin right now also. Mm-hmm. And I apologize. I have a cough that has started up and it's going to continue.
You're okay. So we're seeing right now 3 tornado warnings. They're just kind of stacked on top of each other with this main line that's kind of bowing out. When it's bowing out, what that indicates is that we're dealing with some very fast wind. And so even if we didn't have tornado warnings, winds in this storm are projected to be going at 70 miles an hour. That is extremely fast, and it's enough to cause destruction without having a tornado warning with it. The fact that we're looking at really, really gusty wind and a tornado warning means that it's time for you to get into your safe space. For the most of Poinsett County, you guys are in this warning. To the southeastern corner of Craighead County, you're in this warning. Continuing to see this warning moving toward Blytheville if it holds together, and also watching the warnings farther to the south. That's including most of Cross County, as well as most of the northern half of St. Francis County. So a lot of the delta underneath this tornado warning right now. What you need to do is get into your safe space. What that means when we say that is you want to be in an interior room, the lowest level between, if you got a basement, that's the best bet, but also something to keep in mind, this is overlapping with flash flooding threat. So this is one of those situations where you kind of have to almost make a decision. So don't go outside and try to assess where the tornadoes potentially could be. We don't have anything confirmed right now. But what I do suggest is if you do not see standing water, to go ahead and get into the lowest level of your home, the most interior room regardless, and keep as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and make sure you cover up your head with either a helmet, a pot, pillows, mattress, anything to help cushion and protect your head would be important in the situation. And again, we have 3 tornado warnings. There is a Boeing segment that is moving through parts of Poinsett County, Cross County, and St. Francis County right now. It's also going to move into the southeastern part of Craighead County as well. So we want to keep our eyes on this, because even if we weren't talking about 3 tornado warnings, we are talking about one big segment. I'll go ahead and switch over to radar so you can see what I'm talking about. We've got one big segment that is just moving so quickly at 70 miles an hour and bringing 70-mile-an-hour wind gust with it. So that's destructive. It does not matter if the wind is spinning around or if it's going straight out. 70-mile-an-hour wind is 70-mile-an-hour wind. So we're taking this seriously because it's a severe thunderstorm warning, and also taking it seriously because it's capable of producing tornadoes at this time as well.
All right, I'm behind the scenes also talking to some officials. I want to. Obviously, I want to continue watching the tornado warnings here also, but also the entire segment. I just got word from County Judge Rusty McMillan up here in Greene County saying that, we've got a lot of our crews out and about dealing with the flooding and emergency situations there, and was asking about this storm. And while they do not have a tornado warning, being that we've got a lot of crews not only in Greene County but Clay County. We've had some water issues, some levee issues up in Clay County. We've got people out and about, first responders, that are taking care of residents right now. We need them safe also. Even if you're not under a tornado warning, here's the line. It's coming into Greene County from the southwest. It's moving quickly. It's going to look nasty down to the southwest. In fact, let's start looking at some of our weather cameras and pointing them down to the southwest. So we should be starting to see this line coming into the southwestern parts of Jonesboro and Paragould. So if you are assisting people, or maybe trying to fix some roads and get them back in order, or doing some of these water rescues, or people that are out there, let's radio to them and make sure that they know that there's a pretty nasty line of storms coming in from the southwest. It has some gusty winds. It does have some tornado warnings with it also, but even though Jonesboro and Paragould aren't and everywhere in between here, even though you are not under a tornado warning, that is a nasty, nasty line of storms that's going to be coming in.
Yeah, I'm also trying to look at information behind the scenes, and I've not gotten any reports of anything yet, with the exception of dime-sized hail in Fisher. So this is making very gusty conditions. We are potentially tracking a tornado, but we're tracking a storm that is capable of producing tornadoes. In fact, we've got 3 tornado warnings going on at the same time, but we're also keeping our eyes on some hail and flooding at the same time. So we've got everything coming together right here in the Delta. If you are traveling along Highway 1, if you are in your car, now is the greatest time to pull over and stop your car, because Highway 1 runs north-south, and the storm is coming in from the west. So that's just going to essentially blow you across the road. So no one needs to be driving right now, especially if you're going in a direction that is kind of opposite that the storm is going in right now.
Let me kind of give you an idea. Brian Koleski, which we joined just a minute ago, was down in wind. I'm just going to show you the picture he just sent me. You can see that leading edge, that's a shelf cloud that's coming in. So that's the leading edge of this, just scooting the air out and getting some strong gusty winds. Not to take anything at all away from the tornado warning here, tornado warning right here, and down the south. I would say the greatest risk, let me zoom in as far as getting a little spin up tornado. That's the thing about these lines. By the way, the severe thunderstorm warning, I'm not sure if Christina said it just now, does have tornado possible on it. Did they upgrade that?
It's a new one.
It's a new one, okay.
That's one that includes now Lawrence County.
Okay. So if you notice, we've got these little notches, and we've talked about this before. These little notches right here, we got one. Right there, we've got one. These are little things that can spin up a tornado really fast. Got one right there, passing near Cherry Valley, and really got one passing right into Wynne. Now, Bryant's taking cover there in Wynne as that line of storms continues to move in. But you can see, just looking at it on radar, will widen out. It has picked up some speed, and a lot of times you can get, especially when these things really start picking up, you can get some really, really strong wind from this.
I will say, looking just at the radar and also getting confirmation from the National Weather Service, the area that has the most obvious rotation looks to be in Poinsett County right now. It's also one where you can look at radar and you can kind of see this almost hook that we talk about. That's not exactly what's going on here because we've got a system that's trying to bow out, but it's doing a very similar thing where we're getting an area of rotation on the northern side of this bow that could potentially be the most likely area for an embedded tornado in this line. I will say I switched over and I looked at debris, not seeing anything concerning. Looks like it's picking up something.
Yeah, scooting up all
that could just be dust and bugs and critters. That doesn't look like debris. But we are seeing very fast winds there, and I will admit I cannot figure out if the area that we should be most concerned about is near Waldenburg
I think
or
both.
just to the south.
Yeah, I think both. In fact, I'll switch over to wind also, and I think these are things that can form fast, they end fast. But the area you're talking about, let me zoom in just a little bit more, right there near Waldenburg, that's definitely something going on right there. And then also there's another little area that's through here. Here's the deal. The leading edge of this is going to have 70-mile-per-hour winds. So whether that wind is spinning or going straight out, it doesn't matter. Nobody wants to be outside in 70-mile-per-hour winds, and you want to get as many walls in between you and the outside that you possibly can, and that's what you got to do in the Harrisburg area right now. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to widen back out to the home view, put it on radar, get a really wide perspective, because that's what this storm is just it's covering a lot of real estate right now. As I said earlier, the only good thing about this thing moving fast is that maybe these locations won't get as much heavy rain. That would be good. Yeah. But let me put a storm track on the entire line as it continues to move through. And so I'll just put a leading edge through here going out. We're going to put that at 70 miles an hour. All right,
That's
so
the fastest one.
here's the leading edge of the entire line. Harrisburg, 3 minutes out. Greenfield, 1250. Parkin at 1254. Jonesboro, just shy of 1 o'clock. So we're looking here. It's 1245. Got about 15 minutes in Jonesboro. If you're watching us on the live stream, I'm going to remind you again, look at the clock. It says 1245. So make sure you line that up, because if you're watching us on a stream, you could have as much as a 90-second delay. That's one bad thing about watching on your phone and tablet. And somebody has asked me, what's the fastest way to get your signal? Antenna. If you have an antenna on your TV, that is the fastest way to get the signal. So Parkin, 1254, close to 1 o'clock at Jonesboro. Let's call it 1259. Lepanto, 104. It says Carriage Hills. Let's call it Paragould. That's just the south side of the Paragould area. Joyner, 114, Big Lake, 119, Osceola at 122, Gosnell at 129. If this continues, I see no reason why it wouldn't continue and continue to be strong. It will probably have at the very least, a severe thunderstorm warning with this as it continues to move through. Also, heavy rain continues to fall. I just got an update. We've got not just county roads. Somebody has said, how many of the county roads are underwater and this, that, and the other. Pretty much everybody's got roads. But I'm seeing pictures right now of Highway 139 in the Mounds area covered to the water. So a lot of water problems on the roads right now too.
Ryan, I will say that one area that we were watching near Waldenburg does seem to be tightening, maybe just a little bit. You can see the wind there right
between
by
Wiener and Waldenburg right now.
Yep, right south of Wiener. So this.
Click on debris signature on your computer.
Yeah, I looked at it a second ago. I've been seeing that, but
Yeah, it's kind of radial
yeah,
messiness right now.
I'm not convinced. But again, it does not matter if we have a tornado on the ground or not at this point. We
Right.
do know we've got some extremely fast wind just within this system. This whole system is capable of producing 70-mile-an-hour winds. And it does not matter if those winds are rotating or going straight. Those are destructive winds. You do not want to be out right now. You want to be inside. And the National Weather Service is noting that Wiener needs to be taking shelter at this time. If we put this into motion, it looks like that one area is trying to move right toward Wiener. I would not be surprised if they tried to either extend this polygon or letting that severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag try to maybe catch that. Although I don't think it goes out quite that far. But that area of rotation is tightening as it continues to move toward Wiener at more of a north-northeast trajectory than anything else.
Yeah, it is. You're right. Looking at that, it's probably been the most, I guess you'd say, convincing look at the possibility of something rotating in the past hour or so. I would say it's that area.
Yeah.
So strong gusty winds have gone through the wind area now. They're continuing to move to the east and northeast. Can't rule out a little spin up, and that's why the tornado warning is here. That little area right there, southern Poinsett County, is what has prompted another tornado warning. And then the area that Christina was just now showing you is right here, right near the Wiener and Waldenburg area. This is another area that that is pretty concerning rotation-wise, right through there.
It seems like it's trying to ride right along Highway 49 and Highway 1.
You know, if there's anything there, there's going to be a spotter there. We've got spotters, definitely.
Do you have cameras in that general area?
I doubt it, but let's check some of our weather cameras. We should start seeing the leading edge of this shelf cloud. Yeah, let's go to the Paragould camera, and then I want, after that one, have the stadium camera lined up also. But you can see there in the distance, that line, that horizontal line that goes left to right, way out there horizon. That is the shelf cloud of this Boeing segment that's going in. Let's go a little farther down to the south, maybe get a. There it is right there. You can see that line. That's the leading edge of it. We don't have much going on right now. In fact, the wind's not blowing much. Okay, sounds good. Let's go back to radar here. Okay, so there's that rotation has gotten a little messier on radar, but it's still moving right around the Rayburn Road area. Let's go back to radar. All right, let me back out. And if you notice, there's the squall line that's the Boeing segment that's coming in right now.
Ryan, they're about to issue a new tornado warning for Craighead County because of the direction of this storm.
The one of
that we're watching by Wiener.
Yep.
So I would not be surprised if this is going to make our phones go off here.
All right, so I would say you're probably right. You can clearly see it even when it's backed out. So they're writing up a warning right now for this area. It's probably going to look something along these lines. Probably something along there is what we're about to get here shortly. So if you're Jonesboro southward, if you're pretty much well, you can kind of see the area here. That's going to include the Valley View area. That's going to include the Bay community. It's going to include Lake City, more than likely, if I'm correct in how they're probably going to draw this. We'll let it pop in here in just a minute. But a new tornado warning is coming on the leading edge of this Boeing segment that is coming in. I think if we go back to the stadium camera, we may be able to see the lowering there in the distance. We're not. The wind's kicking up though. All right, let's go back to radar, and we'll wait for that tornado warning to come in. And like I said, when they issue that, if it's far enough north, a lot of people's phones are going to start going off.
Yeah. I'll also say, I'm just kind of keeping up with some of the reports that we're getting right now. There's a ham radio operator that said so far, no confirmed rotation for Wiener. But they're keeping their eyes on it, and we're going to see what comes out of this. But the area that we're watching right now is very close to Wiener. It's starting to get a little bit messier, but if we kind of zoom out and play just a little bit, you can see that area that we've been watching. And it is really trying to move to the north. That says on here that we have this new warning, so it's probably going to pop up very soon. Once it does, this storm is moving east at 60 miles per hour, and it's going to be located near Harrisburg is the area that they're watching now.
Yeah, I see a little area right through there also.
It's very messy. There's a lot of little areas that are trying to rotate with this.
You know, we've seen National Weather Service offices before come into a situation and they just kind of like they did with the severe thunderstorm warning and just made a really large one. You know, I've seen them before just come in and put a big blanket warning before that says tornado possible. So we'll see what they do here. Like I said, I kind of drew a little area. We'll see if that plays out. But it doesn't matter if you're under a tornado warning or if you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. All up and down this line, we need to make sure that you're in your tornado safe spot. Whether it is 70 mile per hour winds spinning or if it's 70 mile per hour winds that are going straight, it can cause a mess. Also, look down here. Got a little kink in the line here also. Right there. So that's going to be right around the Parkin area. You are under a tornado warning there in Parkin, so that makes sense.
Then I might have misunderstood what they were saying. I think they just edited that original one to change the direction or the speed because.
Well, I mean, there's a little rotation right there, just kind of riding the northern side of it. So.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to alert everybody's phones in Jonesboro, it doesn't look like, but already has through the southeastern parts of the area.
Yeah.
So once again, there's radar. Let's go back out to the home view, animate this. It does look like once this moves through, we will start seeing a lot of the rain ease back a little bit. That's still some pretty heavy rain back there. And still some more thunderstorms continuing back here.
The really gusty winds are past Highway 1 now, but they are moving so quickly that they are going to get to I-55 in just a few more minutes. So if we put a storm track on this whole line, because the whole thing's moving and has the ability to rotate, that's why we're seeing so many tornado warnings right now. If we stop this and put a line on the whole storm, and I'm just going to err on the side of caution and go with 70 miles an hour because some are going a little faster than others. And once it gets over to near Turl, that means we're looking at I-55. So Parkin, it is right on top of you right now. You need to be in your safe space. Remember, there's going to be a delay of the time if you're watching us on streaming right now. So look at the clock in the upper left-hand corner. We're seeing 12:55 right now. Match that up with the time on your watch to see how much of a delay that there is. These are the times of arrival, regardless of if you're matching up or not. So looking at Parkin at 12:56. Earl, 102, Truman, 105, Lepanto, 111, Marion, 116, West Memphis, 119, and it looks like they've just issued that new warning that's going to include Jonesboro at this time as well. So I'm going to clear this out, and that looks pretty close to what you just drew, Ryan.
Yeah, they're including some areas a little farther to the. They're including some areas a little farther to the north. Than that box, which takes it into a little part of Greene County also. And that is for that rotation that we were spotting just a little bit ago. This whole thing, this whole storm is trying to spin. And so the new warning goes right through there. But look at any of the weather cameras, see if we see anything coming in.
No, there's a lot of heavy rain that's kind of blocking our view, so it almost looks just like a regular stormy, rainy day that might catch some people off guard whenever the storm comes in, because we've got now 4 tornado warnings associated with this because of the way that this bow is moving through. We're seeing some kinks in the line that are capable of producing
Let's go
tornadoes.
back to radar, by the way.
So,
Ooh, some
whoa,
lightning.
that
Holy
was
cow.
Cool. So
We'll
got
keep
some
an eye on
lightning with
that. That's down south side of town. That was right here, so it was getting into the rain, but definitely right in the lightning also. I want to take a look at the wind. As we said, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where the little kinks are in the line, but this one you can see pretty good. So they're worried about, we saw this down here between Waldenburg and Wiener. It has now moved a little bit more to the northeast and really still seeing a little bit of rotation around 49 as well. You continue on down to the south and just kind of follow along that lines. And whenever you start seeing these brighter shades of green through here, if I was in Mark Tree, if I was in Tyronza, because of these brighter shades over here, that's higher wind coming toward the radar site. These little areas right through there, can put down a quick tornado. So make sure you're in your tornado safe spot through here. And even if these aren't producing a tornado, that leading edge through here is 70-mile-per-hour winds. Let's go back to the Jonesboro tornado warning. A lot of people are just now getting on their phone and they're thinking, okay, phone just went off. What are we looking at? We're looking at this right here. Here is Valley View, and we're looking at an area right through here that could be spinning up on the northern side of that storm. And if that is, we're going to see a shelf cloud come in, and then you're going to see maybe a lowering through here also. Let's go back to, I guess we could go to the Central Baptist camera if we can. Central Baptist, not the NEA, sorry. And we're going to kind of scan through here and look around. If you go more to the left, that would get more into that area, but you're going to get into the steeple here in just a minute also. Yeah, let's keep watching through that area and see if we see anything. If you're just now joining us, I've had a little bit of a cough, so yes, I have a mint in my mouth, so this voice will keep going. But I can see a shelf cloud there in the distance. Tell you what we could watch also is for any kind of power flashes. Mm-hmm. So let's keep watching. If somebody could watch that camera behind the scenes and just, if there's anything we need to go back to. In fact, if you're in the control room, you just glance up and say, hey, we need to show that. You can just throw it back on. But let's go back to radar so we can show people what we're looking at here. All right, so let's go back to radar, if we could.
While we're waiting for the radar to come back up, I do want to point out that we've got 4 or 5, I'm not sure how many now, but they're overlapping, and the National Weather Service is going to work on trying to clean that up a little bit to just kind of add to a little bit more clarity to the situation. Keep in mind, whether you're under a tornado warning or not, if you find yourself in that severe thunderstorm warning, that whole line, the whole bow right there, capable of producing 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. At this point, it does not matter if it's rotating or not. We are talking about a very strong storm that's capable of producing destructive winds. And in Poinsett County, it's getting very close to I-555. And also this whole storm getting very close to 55 as well. And unfortunately, those roads, especially in those areas, kind of run north to south. So the wind's going to be hitting the side of your car if you're on the road. So the suggestion is to pull over. And again, if you're on the road, the overpass is the worst place to hide under. You want to hide in an open area and just stop driving. You're going to get caught up in some really gusty wind, potentially some rotating wind, and also just dealing with some heavy rain. So if you know somebody that's traveling right now, give them a call. If you know somebody that is in and near the honestly, everybody in Poinsett County pretty well underneath this tornado warning. There's a couple of exceptions for that, but get into your safe space if you're at home listening and watching to us. Continue to take shelter if you are in most of Mississippi County as well. Blytheville officially not in this warning, but it's something that we're watching very closely, and still watching most of Craighead County, including Jonesboro, in this warning right now. So if you're listening to us, it is time to get into your safe space. That is an interior room, the lowest level of your home. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible during this storm. We've got very gusty winds moving through. They also could be rotating at this time. That's why we're seeing multiple tornado warnings right now.
All right, so multiple tornado warnings. What we're going to do is I'm going to go back to radar here. And kind of give you an idea of what all we have going on. I'm going to give you the big picture because there's a lot of things happening and a lot of people's phones are going off right now. If you have a tornado warning, your phone just went off. And so that includes even all the way up to probably parts of Paragould. And so what I'm going to do, severe thunderstorm warning goes all the way up to Clay County. And it's all for this big line of storms that's coming in. So let's start at the top of it and work our way down. I'm going to put this into motion so that you can get an idea of where this is going. So here's Paragould, here's Jonesboro. So obviously Brooklyn is in here also. The rotation is back in here, kind of on the back side of this part of the storm because the whole thing's kind of spinning around as it's blowing this through. Your phones are also going off probably all the way close to Blytheville, maybe over to Gosnell, and then crossing over into the river. So that includes Lepanto, that includes Lake City, that includes Etowah. So everybody's phones just buzzed off for a tornado warning, and it's for this line that is about to cross over Interstate 55. Harrisburg, back to the west, you're almost in the clear. Once this continues to move across 55, your threat's going to start going down. Jonesboro right now, there's not a really good place to really pinpoint exactly an area that you need to be a little bit more cautious of. Just anybody in Jonesboro as this line comes through, whether you're getting winds that are spinning at 70 miles per hour or the straight line winds, you need to be taking cover. Down to wind now, still have a little segment right through here of the possibility of a spin up tornado on the leading edge of it. Wind proper, you're still seeing heavy rain. You're still hearing the thunder, but your threat is starting to go down now that that line is moving a little bit farther to the east. I'll tell you something else we're going to get here in just a minute is we're going to recap this flooding emergency that we have once we get a little bit calmer through here. Let me take you down into Jonesboro. A lot of heavy rain is ongoing right now there. If there's anything spinning, it's going to be right through here. So here's Highway 49, comes down to Valley View, comes over, and then slides down to the south toward Wiener. That little area is concerning. That's coming right into town. We'll take a look at some weather cameras here in just a minute. We got right on the leading edge of this, a little area trying to kink up right around the Bay community. You're officially under a tornado warning also. Truman's right on the line of it. There's definitely some strong gusty winds coming into Mark Tree and into Tyronza. And then you go down to the south into Twist, Parkin. These are areas that got hit by a tornado in the middle of the night. So it doesn't look as bad down in this area, and they're going to continue eventually probably letting that tornado warning expire.
This is definitely weakening, but what I will notice is one, they just issued another tornado warning.
Yep.
Two is that I'm still mostly concerned about the area near Truman right now. If you switch over and look at radar, you can see where we've got that kind of hook trying to form there near Truman. This is also part of one of the faster parts of the storm as well. If you switch over and look at the wind, that's where you're seeing that kink where the red and the greens are kind of trying to tighten up a little bit more that Ryan was just pointing out. So Truman, you need to be in your safe space right now. Bay definitely needs to be in your safe space right now. And as quickly as these storms are moving, you do not have a lot of time. So if your phone went off telling you to take shelter, you need to be taking shelter from this storm. It is capable of producing a tornado. But even if it wasn't, wind 70 miles an hour just as this line moves through, and it's all rain wrapped. Look at the radar. There's so much red going on right now. You're not going to be able to see this. We can't even see anything on our weather cameras right now because they're covered up with the rain. So this is not something you want to be out in. We've got a very strong storm dynamic just trying to move through. It's moving through quickly and bringing very destructive wind with it, Ryan.
All right, so if we go back to Max 1, I'm going to kind of zoom into that area down in Truman. And you can see that is starting to wrap up a little bit more now. For a second, it looked really, really concerning. But you can see right where that little wind shift is. There's all kinds of little areas in between Truman and Mark Tree on Interstate 555. Have we looked at any of the RDOT cameras there? All right, they're going to look at that. Let's go back to the north. Got a lot going on here, but I want to look at Jonesboro once again. Strong gusty winds in the red. There's the green. If there's anything spinning, it's going to be right through here. Officially, Brooklyn and even the south side of Paragould. This right here is the 412 bypass right here. So officially, the southern parts of Paragould under the tornado warning. So we'll continue to watch that to see if they extend it. But as we've been saying, we're sounding like a little bit of a broken record here. Even if you're not in the tornado warning, which you can see the weak echo region where the rotation is, even if you're not in the tornado warning, you're going to see some strong gusty winds with this also. Let me back out just a bit. Right on the leading edge of this, you're going to see some strong gusty winds coming in.
Hey Ryan, we were getting a report of a 10-second measured wind in Truman of 87.8 miles per hour.
Goodness.
That is a fast, destructive storm. Even more so. Does not matter if that's rotating or not. That can cause some damage. So that is a very strong dynamic storm moving through. I will say a little bit of a positive note. I'm not seeing anything popping up on debris right now. So hopefully that stays that way and I'm not overlooking anything. But also continuing to watch that area that's moving out of Cross County into Crittenden County. That also continues to weaken. Still seeing some very gusty wind with that. But the most concerning part of this is going to be in Poinsett County and Craighead County right now.
Yeah, if we got a 10-second wind, how fast?
87.8.
87 miles per hour. Goodness. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Even if there's not a tornado there, let me zoom in here. And you said that was at Truman?
Yes.
And so there's Truman there right underneath the buttons here. So if we're getting 87 mile per hour wind along this thing, that's what's coming into Etowah and Lepanto. And that doesn't even, if it's not even a tornado, it's just straight line winds, does it matter? I mean, if it's 87 mile per hour straight line winds or 87 miles per hour spinning, to a certain degree, if it's a wide area that's getting these 87 mile per hour winds, it can, likely make a wider damage path than if it were a tornado. So we need everybody, you're officially under a tornado warning, everybody in this area to be in your tornado safe spot. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to widen out just a little bit more. Widen out just a little bit more here so I can put a storm track on the leading edge of really the whole thing. Because we were kind of looking at just the couplets within the storm. And, if you're getting 87 mile per hour winds, it doesn't necessarily matter if you're on one of those spin up tornadoes. So I'm going to do it on the leading edge of this strong wind going to the northeast, still moving 65, 70 miles an hour.
I think so. What I will say is they are updating this to a catastrophic severe, so this is going to make
everybody's phones go off.
Storm motion is now 80 miles an hour.
80 miles per hour. Let me clear that off there.
I think the National Weather Service in Memphis is listening and really helping us out right now. Thank you, guys.
I was about to say with that clocked wind reporting, that changes things. When you get actual ground confirmation of that, you said 80 miles per hour. It's been a long time since I put 80 mile per hour wind gust or storm track. So that's in Jonesboro now. Brooklyn in the next few minutes. Etowah 120, Monette 124, Big Lake 128, Half Moon 135, Blytheville. This will probably hold together 138, Reeves at 143, Steele up in the Boot Hill at 148, and Braggadocia at 152. What I might do also is I did the whole line segment there. Let's do smaller line segments so we can get more cities and towns in here. First, we'll take this one, moving to the northeast. There's a new tornado warning coming out too. At 80 miles an hour, it's going to take it into the Lunsford community here in the next minute or so. Brooklyn, couple minutes. GCT High School, 121. Big Lake, 126. Cardwell area, 128. 135. Gosnell, Holland at 140. Kennett, 142. Hayti at 148, Caruthersville at 151. If we make these smaller segments here, we get more communities so that we can tell people to take cover. This is probably the strongest part of the storm. Wouldn't you say that where we just got the wind report? So I'm going to put a leading edge on this right here, and we're going to put this out.
While you're drawing that out for that new warning that probably made almost everybody's phones go off, not only is it capable of producing 90 mile per hour wind gust, it's also capable of producing $50 sized hail. and tornadoes at this point. So this storm is unfortunately packing quite the punch as it's moving through, getting very close to I-55 at this time, and just encompassing a lot of Craighead, Poinsett, and moving into Crittenden County right now as well.
All right, so Lepanto now, Caraway 118, Etowah 120, Osceola 128, Luxura 131, Armorel 142, Barfield 142, and then the Gates community at 153 as you continue on move to the northeast. Now, this is for the segment that does already have confirmed wind of 87 miles per hour. Just got a report that we might have some rotation right overhead at Truman. Let me look a little closer here. Okay, I can see, yep, probably right through here. Yeah, because what you're looking at here, this would be the winds coming away from the radar site. This is through, so wouldn't surprise me to have something overhead right there.
Right on top of 555.
Did we have anything on the cameras, or is it just completely rain wrapped?
You can't.
It was a while ago completely. By the time we got that 90 mile per hour gust, you couldn't see a thing on that camera.
Because I think if you look at the radar and then like put a line on it and switch over to velocity, the rain is getting you almost before the wind does.
Okay.
Almost, not quite, but it's enough to where you don't really get a second to kind of see what you're seeing.
Let's check the RDOT camera again, just in case, because now the rain's starting to ease back. Maybe we can see on the back side of it.
Still can't really see anything on the RDOT camera.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of rainfall, but it's cleared up a lot. But I can't tell if there's any rotation or anything just looking at the camera.
Okay.
Still a
there
very
it is
strong
right there.
storm.
So this is Truman looking northbound. That's wild how calm it looks now after getting an 87 mile per hour wind gust. Okay, let's go back to radar. So once again, we will start on the northern side of this for those that are just now joining us. Paragould, I'm not going to give you the all clear. You do have that tornado warning. It's just down to your south, but I don't see anything through here that is too concerning right now. If you look at radar, you've got some heavy rain coming in, but the worst of it is down to the south. You can stay in your tornado safe spot for just a little longer, but just know that the worst of it seems to be down here from Lake City, Truman, coming into Etowah, coming into Caraway. And this thing really kind of looks like a hook down here down at the bottom. You see this right here?
Yeah.
Right through here. A little worried about the Lepanto area. You need to be in your tornado safe spot right now in Lepanto. This is going to continue moving on. So Kaiser is going to be very close to this. There's Etowah, Lunsford community. Caraway, wind is increasing here. You're probably already getting the heavy rain. No, not quite. You're about to get the heavy rain. It's coming in right this second. And then the wind is really going to start kicking up also.
Also, Ryan, they dropped the warning that was for Crittenden County right now. So if we zoom out, map's looking a little bit cleaner. We're mostly concerned with the northern side of these storms. And I'm not really sure if this is a newer warning or not. I think it is, but it moves into the Boot Heel as well.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
So we're watching places like Hornersville and the southern parts of just Dunklin County in general, also watching that Steele community. You guys aren't seeing anything right now, but these storms are moving very quickly. They are moving at 80 miles an hour,
wild.
Capable of producing 90 mile an hour wind and tornadoes.
And they did.
And $half size hail.
All right, let me put it on the leading edge. This is for the new warning because all your phones just went off. It's moving at 80 miles an hour. It's going to take it into Etowah at 119, Big Lake 124, Little River 125, Gosnell 132, Blytheville comes in at 134, Steele at 140, Braggadocio 144, Caruthersville 150. Then it's going to cross over into Tennessee and be over in Dyersburg just before 2 o'clock. So this thing is moving quickly. So all your phones probably just went off. And so I want to give you just a look at the storm track on that.
And Jonesboro, you are no longer in this tornado warning now.
Yep.
They've trimmed this back to the east. So Jonesboro, you guys are okay right now. Still seeing some heavy rain, likely maybe even seeing a little bit of hail because there's still some higher areas, especially on the southeastern side of town, where there is either really heavy rain or maybe some smaller hail. But still a very strong bow that's pushing through, and as it's pushing through, it's trying to get little areas that are individually rotating. So we've got very gusty winds that have been reported at near 90 miles an hour, and it's not really showing a sign of weakening on that northern side either.
Look how fast this is pushing through now, just blowing through the eastern parts of Cross County into Crittenden County. It's not going to be long at all. This thing's going to be across the river. Now, Christine mentioned this earlier, but this Boeing segment on the upper side of it where it curves around here, this is usually the segment where we have the most issues is at the top of the curve and at the bottom of the curve. And that seems to be the case right now. This is also where we've had reported wind at 90 miles per hour. So let me zoom back down this area so we're not on the Paducah radar. Probably still some really strong gusty winds. I still wouldn't. I'd be interested to see whatever that rotation did just near Truman. And then the strong wind continues all the way down to Lepanto.
Yeah, we're still watching this. It's getting very close to Blytheville at this time as well. I kind of want to zoom in and just kind of name off some smaller towns. Not going to put a storm track on any of it because
Might want to go max 2 then.
It's almost going to, yeah, max 2 please if you don't care. It's almost going to move a little bit faster than I can even get it to. So we're looking at Etowah, Big Lake, Manila, Burdett, Blytheville, Gosnell, Monette, Hornersville, Steele, Cardwell. You guys all need to be in your safe space right now. Kennett, Braggadocia, Bragg City, still watching Luxora and Osceola as well. It looks like it might try to go a little north of Osceola, but still about to see a very strong storm moving through that is capable of producing 90-mile-an-hour winds. It's already done that. It's also capable of producing tornadoes. If we switch over and look at the wind, there are a couple of areas where we might be seeing some rotation. We got those reds and those greens coming together. I will say I'm not seeing anything that's super obviously rotating right now, but still seeing a very strong storm with some very gusty winds right now in the very northeastern parts of Poinsett County as well as in the eastern side of Craighead County.
All right, I'm going through social media right now, see if we had anything, any damage, any rotation, just anything.
I've been trying
like
to check that too, and I've not been seeing much in the way of reports. The only one that I've gotten was out of Truman with that wind gust near 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Nothing else is really coming in, so maybe everybody is inside and not trying to get some information on this. So we do want to be taking this seriously. At the same time, we're also dealing with flash flooding in the same area right now. So be mindful of that when you take shelter. You still want to get into the lowest level, but you don't want to get into the lowest level if that level is underwater.
And we got a lot of places that have had a lot of rain. In fact, let me widen out. You can see the flood warnings also kind of patchworked across everywhere. Getting reports, like I said earlier, of 139 water across it. The water is going across the levee at Big Slough. Not on the river, but on Big Slough, the water's coming across the levee, and I believe that's causing issues on 139.
Yeah, and we're still watching this whole system just moving very quickly. They've said they're okay, that's not for us. I saw an information about a new storm being drafted, but that is for Memphis Metro, not for us. So they've not updated anything on our storms that we're watching right now. We're still seeing potentially a couple of areas of rotation, which is why we're seeing this just cluster of tornado warnings for Craighead County, Mississippi County, the Boot Heel, as well as around the Lepanto area in Poinsett County. But this is almost trying, I think, maybe to transition into a straight line wind event. But again, this has the history of producing 90-mile-an-hour wind gusts. At that speed, it does not matter if it's rotating or if it's going in a straight line. Those are destructive winds that's capable of causing damage, that's capable of causing power outages, and definitely capable of causing accidents. We've got some very heavy rain with this as well, so you're not going to be able to see. I'm going to draw a line really quickly on kind of one of the areas that we're watching right now, just to give you an idea. This is where the fastest winds are. If we switch over and look at radar, you're really not going to be able to see that because that line was right where we're seeing the heaviest rain. So we've got this potentially rain-wrapped tornado, but we don't have anything on the ground right now. I'll go ahead and look over at debris. I haven't seen anything picking up on there. None of these little lighter colors. I know the legend says debris possible, but just because it looks yellow, green, and blue does not mean that we're seeing debris there. What we have to see is a couple of things lining up, and we're not seeing those ingredients lining up. So I don't think we have anything on the ground right now, but what we do have are very destructive winds, and it looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning, and it might have been the same one that they were talking about for Memphis, but they've extended it all the way into the Boot Heel, Ryan.
All right. All right, so once again, man, we have just a patchwork of warnings. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn radar off for a minute. You know, we've told everybody up and down the line to take cover. What I'm going to do is kind of do a couple things. This should help communicate things a little better. So we've got a Boeing line that's coming through here, and the entire line has a severe thunderstorm warning with it. That's what you see in the orange color. Along that line, we have certain sections that are kinking up and getting a little bit of rotation. We've had 87-mile-per-hour wind out of Truman. So we're paying close attention to the storms that are coming out of that. And this is where the tornado warnings are. Now, as Christina was saying, it doesn't matter if you have 80-mile-per-hour winds in a tornado or straight line winds. 80-mile-per-hour wind is 80-mile-per-hour wind. So we've had phones go off, we've had sirens going off. Paragould, you're right there on the line, but it looks like the worst of it's kind of sliding over here. I'm not to the point that I'm going to give you the all clear yet. Hang out there just a little bit longer, but it does look like the stronger stuff is heading through here. Had some damage in the Truman area. I know the KFC sign there at the restaurant had some damage. Blytheville, you're going to see some strong winds with this as well. But this is probably the most concerning area right now, which would be the tornado warning. But all through here, we've got some strong gusty winds. Now, behind that, this is all flood warnings. And if you notice, there is a white outline here. That's a flood emergency. There's a white outline here along the Spring River, flood emergency right now. And it has that black and white line around it. We have water rescues going on all over Region 8 right now. I've heard about them in Clay County, in Greene County, in Randolph County, in Lawrence County, all the way back into Fulton County. So, in addition to this severe weather threat, we have the flooding threat. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you looked at some data this morning. I think once we get this Boeing line out of here, severe weather-wise, we're good.
Yes. Severe weather-wise will be fine once this bow comes out, and even the heaviest of the rain will be done by then as well, Ryan.
Okay, so we're really excited to get this out of here. The rainfall totals that are coming in will blow your mind. You know, we've been talking for 4 or 5 days now. And quite honestly, just being transparent with you, I would look at some of the model data. I'm like, are we really going to get 15 inches of rain? And you kind of question it yourself. And on big high-end events like this, we do that. We have had that. We have had 10 to 15 inches of rain. So not only do we need to get the severe weather out of here, we also need to get the rain out of here in general. This rain back here is lighter than what's coming through, so it might add another inch or so. But we have had some substantial rainfall amounts. Running the numbers, this is for many locations, is a one in about 65 to 75 year event. So it's rare to get this much rain. Some of the flooding that we're seeing along the Spring River, correct me if I'm wrong, some of that's rivaling 1982 if I'm not mistaken.
Grand
So
River, it crested this morning and it's now coming back up.
is it coming back up? That's what I was about to ask. Let me look at that real fast.
Yeah, that started going back up right around the time that flash flood emergency came out, because it's still, last time I checked, expected to crest just below 24 feet. I don't know exactly where it is right now,
Okay.
but this morning it became the second largest or highest flood in Spring River in Hardy. So
Okay.
we've got historical flooding and rainfall going on right now. And also, not to lose sight, we've also got a couple of tornado warnings going on right now that
New
are
ones?
capable of, no, just the same
Okay.
ones that are still capable of producing some very fast wind, not really showing signs of weakening, but maybe potentially trying to show signs that maybe they aren't quite rotating, still seeing a couple of kinks. I've also gotten a message saying that there are still sirens going off in Jonesboro as of a few minutes ago. I don't know if they still
If
are
the sirens
now.
are still going off, we can probably turn those off
Yeah.
now. Let's go back to Max 1 and we can turn the sirens off really in Jonesboro. I would still I'd still stay in my safe spot in Paragould just a little bit longer, because we still have this wind shift going right here. We could get a little something in here. So Paragould, it's just the southern side of the city that is officially under the tornado warning. Let's stay put just a little bit longer, and then continue to watch down to the south here. Still some rotation going on right around Etowah, and then moving eastward. So what that's going to do is those in the path of this right now, that's going to be Big Lake, Manila. It does include Gosnell and Blytheville, Burdett. We have kind of a patchwork of tornado warnings. You can kind of see one right through here. It ends right here. We got another one that ends here, and then we have a new one that has been extended through here.
So we've got a lot of warnings going on right now for some very fast wind. Also capable of producing tornadoes and even capable of producing $half sized hail. I've not gotten any hail reports though, so hopefully that's not happening. But still some very, very gusty winds with the storm right now. And it's all rain wrapped, so we won't be able to go see anything. And you shouldn't anyway. But it is just not safe outside right now. We've got fast wind, we have flooding, we have potentially tornadoes. We don't have anything confirmed. I'm looking at debris right now. Nothing's popping up, but we do have some very fast winds, even if we weren't seeing these tornado warnings. And again, like Ryan said, anytime you've got these reds and greens next to each other with a bowing line like this on the northern side, we're seeing a couple of little kinks in the line where something could try to spin up very quickly. It likely probably wouldn't last very long. The main threat with these tornado warnings is honestly just going to be the fact that there's wind going that fast to begin with.
Yeah.
So we've got wind that could be gusting near 90 miles an hour. We got a report a few minutes ago, I've lost track of time now, where there was a wind gust in Truman of 87 miles an hour. That was a verified report. So we know what this system is capable of producing, whether it's tornadic or not.
And we've got power out in parts of Truman also.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Because even just wind, I say hesitantly, can cause power outages like that. It doesn't have to be wind that's spinning. So we're still watching a couple of tornado warnings. And have I been looking at this too long, or did they issue another one? I think those are all the same.
Yeah, still
the
well, they
same?
extend the severe thunderstorm warning a little farther out.
Okay.
I've had a lot of people ask me, okay, what about Paragould? What about Jonesboro? Where do we stand there now? They just dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for areas for Jonesboro proper and back to the west. Jonesboro is in the clear now from any tornado threat, and really probably even the wind threat. But it's not far away. Brooklyn, so if the sirens are going off, we can stop those now. Brooklyn, you still have the wind shift is sitting right there also. Paragould, same thing. You're still there to where we have some winds that are a little concerning. Lightning really ramps up as you head farther down into this storm, down into Joyner. That is look at the updraft within the storm, it is still a pretty strong storm, but it is scooting. This thing has already crossed over Interstate 55. It's about to be across the river into Tennessee, and then it'll be a thing of the past for Region 8. Where it hasn't really moved out yet, it's kind of from Paragould into Mississippi County, still the eastern parts of Craighead County. These are the locations where if you look at the wind, we still have some high wind over here around Shugtown. We still have that wind shift going from Paragould down into the eastern parts of Craighead County, kind of going into Monette and Lake City. And there's still just little areas through here that we've got to watch. That could spin something up. Just little areas that we don't fully trust. And keep in mind, we've said this a couple times, is that we've already had wind gusts go over 80 miles per hour, like clocked, like not just an estimate, clocked. Outside of our area, I'm not sure if you see this, but there's tornado warning over there in the western parts of Tennessee. So that looks like a really nasty storm, so I'm glad we're not dealing with that one right there. But
when they updated that severe thunderstorm warning, they also changed the speed. It seems like this whole system's trying to slow down a little bit.
I
Now it's going to the east at 50 and now capable of producing 80 mile an hour wind gusts. So it's slowing down, it's weakening a little bit as it's getting closer to the river, which is good news.
let's put a look on the leading edge of this and put it right here. Slow that down a little bit. Put that out at 50 miles per hour and give you an update. All right, so that's going to take it near Half Moon at 139, Gosnell 143, Blytheville at 146, Holland 153, Steele 156, Braggadocia 201, Caruthersville 212. Then it's going to cross over the river.
So I'm trying to look at any information behind the scenes, see if we're getting any sort of reports, and I'm not really seeing any.
Well, that's a good thing. I do think the wind is probably increasing over northern parts of Mississippi County. Probably increasing pretty good down in Osceola also.
Yeah, Etowah dealing with the wind right now as well.
And it's interesting because we got the wind along the line here, but there's still some wind back here. And that's why, they're keeping the warning there back through Greene County. And I can see why. We still have a little wind shift going on through here, and I wouldn't trust it enough also to drop it either.
No, and even I'm going to try to zoom in, not too far from the GCT High School. Might be trying to see some circulation on the southeastern side of that as well. So still going to keep an eye on that. Cardwell, you guys have a tornado warning, and if that continues, that would be going very close to you guys, so go ahead and be in your safe space if you've not already done so. I'll circle the area that I was pointing out seconds ago. This is what I was kind of noticing, where we might be seeing something trying to kink in this line, but we've been seeing a lot of little areas like that all along this main line as it's pushing through. If it continues, it could go in this general direction. So we're going to be watching that, but that's going to be held in that tornado warning that already exists for Cardwell and Hornersville. So we're going to keep our eyes on that storm as it continues to move. So if you are in Zenith, Hornersville, Braggadocia, Steele, Gosnell, Blytheville, Leechville, Monette, Manila, Big Lake, Burdett, Luxora, you guys are all underneath a tornado warning. There might be a couple of different areas of rotation that we're seeing there, but you guys are also all underneath a severe thunderstorm warning because we're seeing 80 mile an hour wind gusts with this, and it's also moving at around 50 miles an hour. So we've still got a pretty strong storm. It's trying to weaken a little bit, but there are still areas of rotation in this storm where we could get a brief tornado trying to start as well. So we're going to keep our eyes on this storm closely, but good news is once we can get this line, I'll show you what I'm talking about. See the radar, we've got this edge of the line is approaching Blytheville, and then there's kind of a secondary line that's forming, or not really forming, but maybe breaking off near Paragould and on the eastern side of Craighead County. Once we get this out of Region 8, the heaviest rain from this historic rain event, over. So there's some silver lining there. Our severe threat for today, over. So we just got to get this line out, and then we might get to breathe for a little bit.
All right, so I just now got an update. You know, we were kind of watching, didn't want to let our guard down on Paragould. I got an update from someone that said the wind really just kicked up. So that's why I said stay put just a little longer. You know, there's even something trying to rotate down there. Getting some damage reports coming out of the Truman area around Maple Grove, which if you're not familiar with there, is just down to the southwest on the other side of the interstate from Truman. We had the report of the power outages. Now we know why. There are power or utility poles down over there as well. Is this starting to tighten up just a little bit right there?
I was noticing that too. I would be in my safe space if I was a Big Lake right now.
Yeah. That's going to be really close to Manila, really close to Big Lake, right in this area. You're already under a tornado warning, so hopefully you were already taking your precautions, but let's just make sure that we're being serious with that. Big Lake area, Manila, something's trying to rotate down really right on top of you right now.
We're also getting reports out of West Memphis, which is not exactly our area, but still Crittenden County, where someone's saying that an awning at a gas station collapsed. So at, I don't know how to say this.
That's that strong
Lehigh.
gusty winds right through here. Yeah.
So, and that was the weaker side of this storm for a while there. So still destructive even on the weak side.
So the center of the Boeing line is starting to cross over the river. If you see here, still a little notch there, but that's about to cross over the river. Heaviest rain is about to come into Blytheville now. I'd say we're within 20 minutes or so of this all crossing the river, but it has slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's going to be all just watching the rivers over the next couple of days. Spring River, as we said earlier, is back to rising. It is back up to, let's see, 21.6. So it was at 22.8, went down. It's going back up. Here it is. So Castleberry was talking about this just a little bit ago. Went to 22.8, then back down. Now it's starting to go back up a little bit.
So when they reissued, I'm trying to find this information again. They've updated that tornado warning that includes Pemiscot and Dunklin counties.
Yeah.
When they did that, they sped up the storm just a little bit, or maybe it's just like this one very specific
Hold on
area.
one second. A friend of mine, Wes Sandusky, from kind of the area that has a tornado warning right now. Wes, what are you seeing right now where the tornado warning is?
Yeah, Ryan, I was looking down the tornado wall about 5 or 10 minutes ago. I saw the shelf cloud coming up, saw it begin to dip down a little bit. Then it got rain around it so much you couldn't see it. But y'all was talking about just now Manila and some of the rotation you was seeing. I'm looking south out of my house window. And Pam and I were just talking about how the rain in the field was heading back to the west. And the clouds was heading on over to the east. And earlier on, just before that, even some of the clouds up above were heading back to the west, like it was feeding into something, you know. So,
Okay.
So anyway.
Yeah, that's that back area there.
It was, so. You know.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that update.
Okay, buddy.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
We're also getting reports out of Truman that there are a few trees down in some yards there as well.
They're going to have to probably survey that damage, see exactly what happened, especially with the 87 mile per hour wind gusts. We still have some really strong winds over here right around Shugtown. There's Paragould, and there's some strong winds from Paragould down to Shugtown, down to the eastern parts of Craighead County. Still a little concerned with this little area right through here. We're getting a new scan. It's still there right through here. There's still just a few little areas that if you look at radar, it's on the kind of the back side of the middle of this rain that's coming through.
Yeah, still a very strong storm. So if you are in the northern half of Mississippi County, north of Osceola, you definitely want to be in your safe space right now.
Yeah.
Continuing to shelter also in the southern parts of Dunklin County, as well as a good portion of Pemiscot County as well. Braggadocia, you guys are on the edge of this warning, but if it continues to hold together, you guys could be dealing with some very destructive winds in just a few more minutes. We're also about to have a new tornado warning for southern Mississippi County as it's crossing into the river as well. So that might be trying to leave. This isn't the new warning, is it? I feel like I've looked at this for too long.
It might be. Yeah, it might be. So
southern Mississippi County crossing the river. So probably that area. Yeah, because Osceola was not in a warning moments ago. Now you guys are. So Osceola, I stand corrected. Get into your safe space at this time.
do we have any cameras right there?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Yeah, we should.
Let me take a look real fast.
So
Because that's right along Interstate 55. We may have a way that we can take a look at this real fast.
So we still have multiple areas of rotation with this line as it's trying to move through. This new one is now including Osceola, Marie, Golden Lake. It is getting very close to leaving Region 8 though. So this area of rotation that we're watching is going to be basically right on top of 55, just past Kaiser. So Kaiser dealing with some gusty wind right now, officially in this tornado warning, but I don't really think that you have a tornado threat at this time. You still want to be in your safe space though, because it is close enough.
Yeah.
So it's right on top of 55 right now. Do you have eyes on that?
I don't see anything too concerning with it right now.
Okay. Well, that's good news.
I am watching it, but I don't see anything overly concerning. I'm kind of matching up what you're seeing on radar, using the camera,
Yeah.
looking at the camera near Victoria, so it's kind of behind the buttons there on your screen. Visibility's down to almost zero. There it is right there, and you can see it's just, you just can't see much at all.
Very heavy rain with these storms too. And again, this is going to be the heaviest rain, or the last round of our heaviest rain. So once this passes by, things are going to calm down just a little bit. We still have to worry about the rivers rising over the
Yeah.
several days, but at least we're going to get a bit of a break from that. They're also canceling the tornado warning for Green, Craighead, and Mississippi County right now.
Okay.
So I think that area has that line that is pushed out. There we go. They've just updated it. So if we can switch it back to radar, you can see where they're starting to trim back some of these warnings. I think pretty soon they're going to trim back this warning out of Poinsett County as well. So we're about to be only talking to Mississippi County, parts of Dunklin County, and Pemiscot County, because this system is quickly still trying to move out of the area. I still think the most concerning area is going to be heading into Blytheville right now. So we're still watching this area of rotation just near Big Lake and Manila, moving toward Blytheville and Gosnell this morning, also right on top of Dell and Burdett. If you are hearing your town Half Moon, please be in your safe space. We've been under a tornado warning for quite some time now in those areas, so hopefully you've had time to find your safe space by this point. It's going to get really close to crossing I-55 in Mississippi County in probably the next 5 minutes or so. This area of either just very, very fast wind or potentially also some rotation with that wind. Also still watching a little bit farther to the south. This area of rotation is heading into Osceola. I was going to say, we're getting a new scan, so I wanted to wait before I said anything. I'm not really convinced that that's trying to tighten, but it's still there. When you got those reds and greens that close to each other and you switch over and you look at radar and you're seeing some really heavy rain trying to almost kind of wrap around itself a little bit. Oh, that's not the right button. Let me back that up. You're looking at some very strong wind there, and just a very strong storm in general that is capable of producing a tornado at this time. The edge of that main line, though, is about to cross over Osceola, even though we're seeing that area of rotation kind of behind the main line. Zooming out a little bit, just get a little bit more of a perspective on what we're seeing right now. We still have very heavy rain, gusty wind moving through. Officially 3 tornado warnings right now. If we switch over and look at the wind, though, the only areas that I'm really concerned about are in Mississippi County right now. So we'll zoom in just a little bit farther and start calling out a few more town names. So Osceola, Luxora. If you live along Highway 61, East County Road 474, East County Road 50. If you live in Rosa, O'Donnell Bend. If you are in Levy Road, if you are on East County Road 378, East County Road 346, North County Road, oh, just went away from me. If you're in this general area, Blytheville, Burton, Armorel, Huffman, Hickman, Yarborough, Gosnell, something green, Little Green Store, Half Moon, this area of rotation and gusty wind moving right near you right now. You need to be in your safe space at this time. I'm not seeing anything concerning when I switch over and look at debris at this time. We're seeing a lot of noise and not a sign that we're seeing anything on the ground right now, which is good, but we're still dealing with some very gusty wind at this time, and it's something that we're going to have to watch as it continues to move very close to 55 right now in Mississippi County as well as in Penobscot County.
All right, so that kind of gives you a look at everything that's happening here. You know, we got like 1 or 2 lines of storms, so it's going to kind of come in waves. And each one of these, even though this little line here, some of that's not in the warning, there's still some really gusty winds there, and even had some report of some small hail with that as it went through Paragould. So that's all about to cross the river here shortly. We're already starting to see it cross the river down to the south. So really the only areas that we're really worried about for Region 8 is the next 15 to 20 minutes, which is right there, kind of there. Everything else is crossing over the river, and everything west of that, pretty sure our severe weather threat is going to be over for the day. Now, rain's going to continue. And we mentioned this earlier. I think when I left my house in Paragould, I had, I think, over 7 inches of rain total for the storm event, and
Wow.
And it's still raining, and we still just had the really heavy rain that just came through. So you
And
know,
rain until around lunchtime tomorrow.
yeah. So I mean, 10 to 15 inches of rain, which we've been kind of saying isn't going to be out of the question. It looks like. So.
Still watching this storm in Mississippi County. Again, the most concerning area, if you want to say that,
Boy, it is some gusty wind.
is going to be going into Blytheville soon. We just got a new scan. Still looking messy, still looking very windy there. You might have noticed we have 2 tornado warnings now. They dropped off the one that was in Poinsett County. So you guys are in the clear now. Going to switch over and look at the radar. Even seeing a much lighter rain in Poinsett County right now. The edge of that main line getting very close to exiting Region 8, but the area of rotation, I think it's trying to form kind of behind that
Yeah.
main line. So we're still going to have to watch it. I'm trying to see what the name of these roads are at this intersection here. On the road that takes you from Big Lake to Dell and Blytheville. I don't know what that road is called.
Oh, that's going to be 18,
18?
and 181 is kind of where
Okay,
that
so-
meets up.
That's where we're seeing some of the fastest rains, or fastest wind right now, rather, continuing to move to the north and east. And I think it slowed down a little bit and was about 50 or 55 miles an hour. So
Yeah, definitely slowed down.
we're still going to be tracking this for a little while as it's slowly trying to cross over the river. But the southern half of Mississippi County, I think for the most part, you guys are good now. That area of concern, I think, is maybe trying to cross over the river right now. Or is that by Luxora right now?
Let's see. I think we're good down there.
I think we might be too. I'm hesitant to give the all clear, though.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
a strong storm, nonetheless.
Let's take a live look. That's exit
wow.
63, rain picking up. That's in Blytheville, there on Interstate 55. That's still pretty displaced from the wind. The wind hasn't really started coming in, which we've been kind of saying that. We're kind of saying, just kind of looking at it. It's almost like a little wake, what we would call a wake low. So the wind's kind of swirling around on the back side of it. That could be what we're seeing. If you look at radar right now, so this thing's been plowing through, and this is the leading edge where typically all the wind would be. But we're getting a lot of looks. Let me show you. So typically the leading edge would have the wind. And if you look at the wind right now, you still get back here and you get into some bright greens. I still am getting reports of gusty winds back here. It's kind of like a boat. You know when you have your boat and the wake behind the boat is back behind it. This is punching through pretty good, and I think we've got some sort of wake low system that's coming in on the back side of this that's giving some gusty winds. But you can see right there, I mean, that's still some really strong wind. Oh, the other thing is rotation, but it's definitely some strong wind between Dell and Burdett.
Yeah, still enough to be in your safe space.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
we've said it
respect it, yeah.
100 times probably at this point, but it does not matter if the winds are spinning or going straight. If they're going 80 miles an hour, that's dangerous,
Yeah.
and you need to be inside.
And you look at the motion on this,
It's slowing down a lot.
it has slowed down a whole lot. Look at the radar.
Looks like the fastest winds might try to miss Dunklin County.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they'll go in the southern parts of Pemscott County.
So,
So
Kenneth,
there
I
you
think
go.
you guys are going to be okay. It's dealing with some heavy rain right now, but lowering that wind threat quite a bit there.
So if you notice, if we go even back down to the radar site down in Little Rock, we've got more rain, unfortunately, that we're going to be dealing with off and on for the rest of the evening hours, and still scattered about into tomorrow morning as well. You think it's enough to maybe give us another inch, probably in some locations?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if some got closer to 2.
Yeah. So, but severe weather threat is about to be over here shortly. Let's go back to that Blyville exit. Oh, yeah, they're slowing down a whole lot now. So this is Osceola. This is south of exit 53 is where this is. Yeah, they've slowed down.
And they're
Quite a
in the
bit.
tornado warning right now.
They are in the tornado
That's a
warning.
lot of cars on the road.
That is a lot of cars. Saturday, people trying to get around. Hopefully they know about the warning. Let's go back to radar. If you know somebody that is there right now driving, I mean, I guess the threat, for them pretty much has gone across the river now. But that high wind up around Blyville is probably going to continue for another little bit. That highest wind, if you notice, here's the interstate here. They're getting some gusty winds right here. Strongest winds are back here. That hasn't crossed over the interstate yet. So it might be interesting to watch. Here in
They're
just a minute.
continuing this severe thunderstorm warning that they just kind of redrew a little bit. And they're saying still capable of producing inch hail and still 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Now, are they going to keep the tornado warnings, though, with this also?
They have not said.
Okay.
So we'll see. It looks like, did that tornado warning just start to flash like they were updating it? Or maybe I just haven't interacted with it yet, so I think it's still new.
Yeah.
They haven't said anything about canceling the tornado warning. They're spending a lot of time focusing on these storms that are strengthening in Tennessee right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a pretty nasty storm over in Jackson, Tennessee right now. And then, we haven't shown you down to the south, but we're not the only ones dealing with this. There's tornado warnings down here in the southeastern parts of the state as well.
So.
Flood warnings continue. If we can go back to Max 1, there we go, Max 1, I'm going to put it on radar. We'll go back. This thing has slowed down a lot. At least the northern side of this has slowed down a whole lot. So they're going to keep with the tornado warnings are still there. Let me see how much longer they're going to be. We've got another 7 minutes on one of them, and the southern one has another 37 minutes because it goes way over here into Tennessee. So Blyville, you've had the heavy rain. You're not quite done with the wind yet. Kind of a messy looking signature right there. We have to look for little things like this for spin ups, but there's nothing that's just screaming to us right now that we have a tornado. It's telling us that we've got some gusty wind, but I'm not seeing anything. And you can't just look at this and go, oh, there's lighter colors, there's debris. That's not how it works. This is just a messed up radial of the data. So right there on the leading edge. So there's a new radar scan. It even looks like the storm is weakening a little bit.
Yeah, the rain's not quite as heavy either.
No, it's
so
not.
This is good.
Good stuff.
We
Good
like
news.
to see this. We like to see this. So again, once we can get this edge of the main line to move out of Region 8, the heaviest rain from our event is going to be over with, as well as our severe threat. So we are just minutes away from being able to really just be able to focus on the flooding.
Yeah. So if you haven't joined us yet, this right here is a flash flood emergency. This includes the Spring River. Spring River crest for the first time this morning started going down. I'll be honest, I was trying to be optimistic on it coming down, but then it started going back up. So right now, I believe, let me go back and look at it here. It was wild and scary how fast it was rising last night.
While you're looking at that, the
Yeah.
National Weather Service is going to let that tornado warning for the Boot Heel expire.
Okay,
So
good news.
we're having some good news.
So the Spring River now sitting at 21.47, continues to rise. It probably will just be a couple of hours and it's going to be back to where it was when it crest this morning. And then the other rivers, the Spring River at Imboden continues to rise. Pocahontas River is rising. Black Rock rising. And so we're not going to see the crest on them just yet. I hope that the Spring River does crest later on today. Looks like it'll be at 23.5 at 7 o'clock this evening. Hopefully that's when it crests. So we have crews all across Region 8 that's going to be keeping an eye on the flooding situation, on the tornado damage. If you missed it, we had a tornado that just went just south of Wynn, kind of clipped the eastern parts of Wynn about 2 o'clock in the morning. We've got a crew down there. We've got a crew in Hardy. So we're going to be watching the rivers that rise now, and then tomorrow catch some of the rivers that are going to be cresting tomorrow, and then so on and so forth as the rivers across Region 8 continue to rise. So they're going to drop the tornado warning?
Yep, it says they're expiring it. We might just have to wait for it to wrap up on its own, though.
Well, if they're going to
'cause it's
expire
still-
it and the winds are easing back and the worst leading edge of the storm starting to back out, I tell you what, we're going to go back to regular programming. Haven't had any damage reports on it. So, severe weather threat going away. Flooding threat's going to continue. Rivers are going to continue to rise. We're going to have a full update on this on K8 News at 6 this evening, at 10 o'clock tonight. And we'll continue to watch the flooding situation and give you live reports of historical flooding and updates on the tornadoes from last night coming up tonight on K8 News and online on the K8 News app. So from meteorologist Christina Ballantyne and Aaron Castleberry, Jace Passmore is here also. We're going to rejoin regular programming and we'll have updates throughout the evening.